is quite good, which they will pick first. Pick their Grace on the side of Login Station.
Grace, another great choice. Because Turnwalker is taken out of the equation, that pretty much only leaves Arden as the other really dominant captain at this point in time in a double ban system. First picking a captain really forces your opponent. If they don't grab a strong captain, and Arden right here, they might potentially get stuck with someone who could be pretty weak. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick Arden right here. They could also opt for a really strong pick in the carry role. That's Ringo or Vox right now, both very strong. Rona, another great option as well.
Yeah, mostly what could be important if they do take on the Vox, building that poison shiv and just a better, again, the possibility to get that taking down the heal with the poison shiv would be very important. So as you said there, Flash X, they will be going onto an Arden pick and banning right off the bat this Black Feather as the second ban for Kylin Esports. So really nice pickup there because a Black Feather being a very good front lane hero, just able to get the Divine Intervention combo with the Grace can be so devastating in any game. So just taking it off of this game is very smart on their side.
Yeah, quick response by Login Station to follow it up with a Taka ban. Really, both of these captains synergize with both of those second bans right there. Grace, like you said, can just Divine Intervention, Blackfeather, diving into that backline. That's something that no one wants to have to deal with. On the flip side, Arden and Taka can do the same thing. Taka can lead with the X-Retsu onto that squishy backline, but that's going to free up the Ringo pick for Kylin Esports.
Yeah, so that Ringo is just so good. For the last few patches, Ringo has been really, really present in lane, just able to get so much burst damage into the late game, mostly building, I've forgotten the item name in English, unfortunately. Oh my god, for the extra cooldown, and what's the item, please? I forgot the name.
Clockwork.
Not Clockwork, no, I forgot.
Aftershock.
No, I forgot for the weapon tree. For the weapon.
Spell sword.
Yeah, thank you so much. I had it in French there for a second, just lost that word. And picking up then the Vox that we were talking a little bit earlier there with a Grace combo. So those do work out quite well together. Let's see what they want to go now in the jungle on the side of Login Station.
They have a few different options right here because that Vox is probably going to be weapon power. They're going to opt for a crystal power jungler right here. I think Rhyme would be a pretty decent pickup. Petal might be able to work as well. Something that is going to offer a lot of pressure into Ringo in the early stages of the game. I definitely think that is when Vox is really just viable for getting engaged upon, because Ringo does scale a little bit quicker than what Vox does. So something in the jungle that's going to be able to counteract that early game aggression is going to be very important.
Yeah, so they just Vox is going to be so effective in the late game phase, and as you just said, he's able to scale up a little bit faster. So let's see what they can combo with. You do have the Ringo, so maybe something that can actually get on top of the Ringo and burst him down. And it will be a Koshka then, the CC God coming out on the side of Login Station. Let's see what they want to follow up on the side of Kylin Esports. But I do really like this because you have a already self-sustaining hero with the Bitties and Divine Intervention coming up just in case on the Vox or the Bitties. So a very nice draft coming out on the side of Login Station. Going to see how Kylin Esports want to respond to this.
Yeah, they're running out of time, only about 5 seconds left, but the amount of sustain that Login Station has right now is something that Kylin Esports is really going to have to keep in mind. Celeste doesn't necessarily offer a lot of counter to that stain, but what she can do is she can poke from a very long range. Because both Batiste and Vox have such a short range on their abilities, Celeste, once she hits that level 8 and has the overdriven heliogenesis, she can constantly stay in those back lines and deal a lot of damage. And that's something that Grace is going to have to choose. Once they go in, Grace is going to have to choose who she's going to use that Divine Intervention on. That's the only threat that Celeste is really going to have to watch out for, as long as she maintains very good positioning in that back lines.
Yeah, because the positioning is going to be so important on the side of Kylin Esports. You do have the Ordain, you have the Fierce and Chained. As I said, the CC God Batiste. If someone oversteps, he can lock that person in that overstep position and just burst them down so easily with Vox again, the Sonic Zoom again, his auto attacks in, and scales so well in the late game. But anyway, we're going to be heading into the game any moment now. So this game is going to be very interesting. Which team would you go for, FlashX, before this game starts?
I'm definitely a fan of the login station draft. I really think that the amount of sustain they have is going to do wonders for them as long as they can capitalize on the early game and get a little bit ahead of Celeste before she hits that huge power spike at level 8. I think that that's going to put them in really good shape. They also have a ton of crowd control, not just from Batiste's abilities, but the stun that comes out of Grace and the silence that comes out of Vox as well.
Yeah, it's just if the synergy comes out on on this Batiste Grace combo, it can be so efficient and just enabling Vox to get free damage and free range onto the enemy heroes. They're going to be Celeste and Ringo. But as we talked earlier, like the dive potential is going to be very complicated. That means if the positioning on Ringo and Celeste is on point, it's going to be so complicated for Batiste or Vox to actually dive on and get the burst damage that they really need to win team fights. So it's going to be complicated on both sides right now because they have to be really on point to actually get the damage and deal what they want to win any team fight at this point. But look at that. We're going to be having the level 2 rotation just to try and get that early team fight with the level 2 coming up. And we should have a team fight any moment now for this first Elder Treant.
Yeah, Ringo looking for the taunt. They're kind of just positioning back and forth, trying to figure out who wants to make the first move.
Be careful. We're going to have also that Ordain doing a lot of work there. Got the CC on Cat Lover, taking a lot of damage. Although that time Habs did overstep and take a lot of damage. Got the root there onto iDog. Again, bursted down a little bit. Got the Ashley shot, slowing him down a little bit. Trying to take that Elder Treant. Who will it go over to? Looks like it will be going over to the boot team, and they will be securing it. Going over to iDog. Uses his own healing flask there. Was a little bit on the front lane. Nicely played there, taking that first Elder Treant.
Yeah, great positioning by both teams. No team wants to get caught out in that early game positioning. I think Kylin Esports played that really well. They stayed in the back. They didn't overcommit when they didn't need to. Unfortunately, all 3 of them now have popped those healing flasks. So that's something that you're going to want to pay attention to. If Login Station wants to apply pressure, this is definitely a great opportunity to do that. Paying attention to the cooldowns of these items to see where they can press their advantage is going to be very important.
Yeah, look there. Habs did get a little bit pressurized there by Cat Lover. Cat Lover doesn't have his healing fast anymore. That means a benediction well put on the side of Habs. Couldn't get the upper hand there. It looks like we're going to have a little rotation there. iDark, we have the respawn of the Elder Treant. Might be looking for a little aggression there. No, they're going to leave it out there. So yeah, like right now, Celeste has got 3 crystal shards. So it's going to be a little bit more of an early game fight right now with that build. So what do you think of that early itemization there, FlashX?
Yeah, Morphling 15 on this Celeste, the triple crystal bit. I think that's definitely a smart start. She's going to use them all eventually. They're obviously not all going to build into one item right off the bat, but building that early game crystal power is going to put her at hopefully what's going to be a massive damage advantage over this Batiste, so that if she does get into an engagement, she should be able to trade damage fairly easily.
And as we said earlier with the Vox, like Poison Shiv seems like the item he's going to go with. So it's good when you're against heroes that are going to get protected by an Arden, just able to stop a little bit the Vanguard and having that much use and effectiveness in the team fights. So I like that first build onto Vox. What do you think of that first item for Vox there?
Poison Shiv is the first item on Vox, is definitely the standard item. But because Kylin Esports doesn't really have that much sustain, it's not going to be that important.
Yeah, look, we had a little bit of aggression there. Blur took a lot of damage. Did get the Holy Nova to save him out there. We're going to have a rotation there from iDog. Does have the Ordain if you want to keep someone in range. Cat Lover going to be very low. The Ordain will be connecting there. Just kind of have the extra CC. Will not get stunned out. Just staying in the zone. Core Collapse connecting onto Habs. Does have a little bit of zoning out with that Batiste. Ringo again, the Achilles shot doing a lot of work there. Hey, your Genesis doing the work. Just zoning him out from that bush. Slowly rotating down to get maybe camps, but it looks like the camp haven't respawned right now.
This is exactly what Login Station needs to be doing. They need to be putting up this early game aggression, punishing Celeste before she gets to that huge power spike, and they're executing it absolutely beautifully. They haven't picked up any kills, but they're starting to get some chip damage onto this turret and just starting to slowly whittle away at Kylin Esports.
Yeah, careful there. Looks like Morph is trying to get a little bit of zoning there. Core Collapse will be connecting onto Habs. Got a little bit of burst damage with the Heliogenesis. Also, Ooh, no, be careful, Blue. A little bit overstepping there. Does get a little bit backed out. Benediction connecting onto Morphling. And we'll be backing out right there. So, yeah, right now, Celeste looks like wants to go really burst damage. Maybe like Shatterglass first item will be a good build. And we do have the Spell Sword just got finished onto the Ringo. So just normal itemization there onto a Ringo. And we'll be able now to get that extra cooldown, extra mana, and also burst damage.
Yeah, Spell Sword, such a great item on Ringo in this meta. It keeps his energy up so he can constantly use both Achilles Shot and Twirling Silver. And that's really going to help him apply a lot of pressure back onto this Vox. Just spamming his abilities, making sure that Vox is not able to farm as easily is going to be very important. And he's actually started to develop a little bit of a CS lead up in the lane.
Yeah, right now, iDog, it does have a little level advantage. Level 7 over the level 6 of Morphling. So going to be hitting that level 8 quite early, upgrading the Bard Mojo to full level 6, level 5, and level 5, my bad. And yeah, so Dragon's Eye just got itemized there on iDog. Benediction have a little bit of an aggression onto the top lane. Habs will not be going down, just a little bit of a poke coming out anyways. So yeah, Dragon's Eye into iDog. What do you think of that, Flash?
Dragon's Eye on Baptiste in general is a great item. Baptiste, he is able to sustain a lot more than your traditional Crystal Power mages. So he's going to be able to stay in these team fights, build up a ton of Dragon's Eye stacks. So that when he's throwing out these bad mojos, they are doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, be careful. He's going quite low there. The bad mojo's nice rotation up there from iDog, able to get a little bit of CC. Akila's shot connecting onto Habs. Going to be taking a lot of damage there. Be careful. Got the rotation of Morphlings. Got the core collapse available if everyone wants to try and CC Habs. He was just a little bit out of range. Using the healing flask for iDog. Able to tank up the little bit of damage coming out from Cat Slever. Not going to be connecting on any kills, unfortunately, right there. And the Habs will be trying to back out the base. We do have the minion candy available. Habs going to be going very low. Uses, Health Fabric going to be connecting onto Habs, but did use his own healing flask there. Try and tank that up. And we'll be slowly regenerating up. Fearsome Shade going to be connecting there. Also the CC of the Ordain. Unfortunately, going to use the healing flask. Will not be enough burst to cool it today onto Morphling. Going to be able to use also the Vanguard from Kronos to survive that. Devil Hab's going to go very low. Heliogenesis going in the Nova. Able to tank that up just a little bit. Solar Storm just missing off the mark. Habs. And looks like Vox is trying to take down his turret. Going to move around with that Sonic Zoom. Taking down the first turret. Trying to go back. Habs will be going down to Cat's Lover, unfortunately. And Bluer is going to be absolutely destroyed there. Oh, he's got the healing flask. Maybe they will be taking down Kronos. Nicely played. Unfortunately, will be going down, but nice comeback onto this Arden.
Yeah, with Login Station able to secure that first turret, that's exactly what I said they needed to do in order to find success in this game, was apply a lot of early game pressure. Finding that first turret so early on in the game is really going to open up the map in terms of their rotations. They're going to be able to pressure Cat Lover on that Ringo that much more easily because he's not going to be able to position as easily as he would if his turret was still there. So iDark on this Baptiste, keeping up the pressure, Bluer on the Vox, putting a lot of pressure in the lane, and that's something that Kylin Esports really needs to watch out for. On the flip side, Celeste is level 8 now, so that is a huge power spike for her, and she is going to start to be able to play from range.
Yeah, she does have the extra range now. So as you just said, yeah, the turret just went down, so that's going to mean the teamfight can go even further for the side of Login Station. So right now, if they can get the CC and the engagement with the Benediction from this Grace, and she just got the Echo, by the way, Echo on Grace, a lot of damage. Solar Storm will be raining down, just missing off the mark. Blue just going to get bested to the ground. Also, that awesome Gauntlet doing a lot of work. Going to use that Fearsome Shade, able to CC down Cat Lover. Kronos going to try and get a little bit of the front lane, burst it down by the Heliogenesis. Divine Intervention going to be coming out. He does have the Echo. Halfbro Brew just going to be burning down their iDark. Going to use his healing flask onto himself. For Habs, able to regen up and tank a little bit more. Kronos going to be trying to avoid him from coming back in. And look at that. Oh, Morbius going to be using his own healing flask to tank up that Benediction. The Heliogenesis doing a lot of work onto that turret. And that turret seems to be going down. Two Cats Lovers. Nicely done. They got access now a little bit further onto the enemy's map. And Dark Lock, the Bard Mojo, connecting a little bit there. Seems like it's going to be complicated. You have a lot of zoning coming out with those. They're all destroyed with the Nova. Hey, Nova, we're going to be connecting onto Celeste. Got also the damage. Vox coming over. Going to use an awesome reflex block. Not on time. 559 damage. And we'll be going down slowly. The reflex block going to be used. Double kill. And it's a triple kill on the side of Blur. Nicely done and awesome plays with that Vox.
What a play by Bluer. Even though he died very early on in that team fight, he was able to shop, pick up his breaking point, make it back to the fight. Even though their first turret had gone down, he was able to come back after Baptiste and Grace had whittled away at the health of Kylin Esports and clean up that fight. It was super close. He managed to get away with just a small sliver of health, but that's exactly what he was looking for. Those extra kills are going to be really important in terms of him continuing his item progression and getting to the power spikes where Vox might be able to be getting to the point where he can just take over this game.
Yeah, no fear, just fight. He went right to the end, even with a sliver of health, as you just said there. So nicely played. Now we're going to have to see what's going to happen on the side of Kylin Esports right now, because they do get a lot of aggression onto them, unfortunately, with this Baptiste and the absolute CC God right now. God the Ringer doing quite a lot of damage onto iDark, bursting down Dark. Oh, the Holy Never going to be crucibled out by Cronus. Nicely done. Hab's going to be a little bit on the front lane, not taking that much damage. The Gauntlet going to be blocked out by Blur. Nicely done. Divine Intervention giving a little bit more sustain to this Vox. Hab's just going to get absolutely destroyed with the Heliogenesis. Solar Storm bursting through onto Blue and Dark. Fearsome Shade going to be connecting, unfortunately, hitting off the mark this Celeste and going to be taking him down with the Heliogenesis. Dark on his own, one man standing against the full team. Looks like all going to get the CC. Healing Flask coming out onto Morphing to try and sustain that. 838 damage onto that bad Mojo. Be careful. You do not want to get bursted that much against the Baptiste. And looks like Baptiste will leave that one slip away.
Yeah, because of how prolonged that team fight was, Baptiste was able to build up to the maximum Dragon's Eye stacks, and that is what enabled him to do that massive bad mojo onto Morphling, onto the Celeste. Unfortunately, Habs during that fight wasn't able to find his fountain in time. He also still had another Divine Intervention from his Echo still in the bag. So all that healing that Login Station is reliant upon during these fights, they weren't able to quite find, and that's something that they definitely needs to be able to come through, especially as your captain. You need to get your team that healing later on in the rest of these team fights.
Well, time to go, man. It will be going over to Team Login Station. Nicely played onto that one. So, yeah, like, the Echo is going to be such an important factor in these team fights. If Habs does go down first, unfortunately, the team fight is going to go the other way around. So they really need Habs to be around, able to keep the healing with that Divine Intervention onto iDark or Blue, depending on who really needs it. And right now, we do have the Gauntlet slowly going to be available there on the side of Cronus. Maybe we'll be looking for a new team fight. Benediction connecting, not going to be going on any team fight right there. And the zoning starting for more Fling.
It's just a little bit of back and forth at this point. Each team looking for their positioning.
Ooh, be careful there. Use the reflex block to get out of the Ordain. CC core collapse. We'll be connecting there onto I. Caliber doing a lot of work there onto Dark, just bursting him down with those auto attacks on the twirling. Silver doing a lot of work. Crystal Sentry saying, I want to be a part of this, trying to get the extra slow damage onto iDark and slowly rotating now onto the enemy jungle. Nice rotation of Login Station, just stealing what they can. Dark taking a little bit of damage with the Heliogenesis. Not going to go that much further, looks like. And no, Login Station looks like they want to come back in. Infusion just got purchased for iDark and Blue. And also they might want to rotate onto Ringo. Ringo a little bit on his own. Wait for it. Will not be connecting, unfortunately. iDark going to be using a very, very early healing flask. And just that Ordain able to keep Caliber in place, but still dashing out a lot of damage. And it looks like they will try to reposition onto the lane. Yeah, be careful. Got that Achilles shot, able to slow down Blue. A little bit of aggression. Vanguard able to tank up there. Also, the Ordain doesn't have the reflex block anymore. And he does just get it on time. So the Storm doing a lot of work there, just bursting through inside of Login Station. And Morphing just absolutely getting destroyed. And you had the Fearsome Shade did do a lot of work there, able to make Team Kylin go back. Be careful. Divine Intervention going to be raining down onto Dark to heal him up. That Bard Major doing a lot of work there. Morphing going to be very low using their own healing flask. Able to sustain a little bit more there to tank up the damage. And looks like this first turret for the enemy base will be going down quite fast, and it does go down. They do have now access to the enemy trade point. Use the Reek block to get out of the Ordain, trying to reposition. Where's that Solar Storm? Oh, the Fearsome Shade going to get blocked out by Catslover. Going to use the boost to try and get out of that sticky situation. Catslover, be careful. You do not to go back in. Core collapse. We'll be connecting there onto Blue. Also, Yielding doing a lot of work. That Benediction coming back onto Morphing. Will not be connecting on the kill there, unfortunately. Oh, the explosion. Awesome Crucible on the side of Habs. And this looks like it will be the end of that very, very long team fight.
That was great pressure by Login Station. They absolutely capitalized on all of the sustain that they have in their team composition, whether it's Baptiste taking advantage of that Reap, the lifesteal that Vox gets from that Poison Shiv, or the Divine Intervention that Grace can duel out to both of her teammates, especially with the Echo. That is something that's going to be critical to them in providing that lane pressure. Now, with Kraken spawning right now, positioning is going to be everything. I was really impressed with how Kylin Esports was able to stay back. They didn't overcommit, but here's a team fight breaking out.
Oh, yeah, like Vox trying to get a little bit of an aggression there, but Caliver was with his teammates. Arden give the Vingard able to tank up a little bit of that extra damage. Vox going to be slowed down a little bit by those Heliogenesis, and the Veil! The Gauntlet gets Crucibled out nicely. Crucibled for Habs. Able to save up Blur from that stun, and they're just able to make it waste Arden Gauntlet come out. Gonna have also that, Corkulas will be missing just off the mark there, and awesome Fearsome Shade. Gonna be Crucibled out on the off the bat by Arden. Oh, the Solar Storm just doing so much damage, taking off the bat. Habs getting absolutely destroyed by the time. Cronus a little bit quite low, doesn't want to look for a re-engage right now, does use its own healing flask if ever they want to look for a next team fight. Bob Mosher doing so much damage right now. He does have the core collapse, will be connected. Dark getting absolutely destroyed. He does have the 12 Dragon's Eye stack, but it's not enough to out-sustain. Right time, we'll use the reflow block to stop that Achilles shot slow. So really nice aggression and comeback on the side of Kylin Esports.
Yeah, that was great aggression by Kylin Esports. Like I said earlier, the key to Login Station finding success in this fights is going to be their sustain and going to be their healing. But during that last engagement, Grace wasn't able to find the fountain. She wasn't able to use either of her divine interventions with the Echo, and that really hurt Login Station.
Maybe a little bit of Kraken still could be coming out. Sorry, Storm just to secure it. Alice Baldwin will be raining down onto this Fox. No, they're not going to be connecting, going to be rooted on place for a second, therefore missing that ability. Habs are going to try to get out. Also, the Gauntlet able to stun out. Blue Crucible going to be a little bit late, unfortunately, to save his ally. Habs going to use the fountain. Going to be really, really late on that one, unfortunately. 2v3 situation. Login Station have a Kraken on their back now. It's going to be a really complicated situation to come back from.
Kylin Esports has turned it up a notch. They are hungry for blood. They are not concerned. Even though they are still in a 3K gold deficit, they are not concerned about taking these team fights head on. They understand that their comp scales better, and even though they're playing on the back foot, they are still playing like they're ahead in this game.
Yeah, be careful there. Dark almost got destroyed there by that Solar Storm. They still have the Kraken trying to get access now to that choke point to get to the same number of turrets as the enemy team. They do get that turret now. Got a little bit of aggression there. Habs able to put down the Atlas Pauldron onto the Ringo, and looks like they will try to leave that Kraken go to waste. No, they're going to be leaving it now and go back to their own jungle. So nice push anyways with that Kraken.
Definitely a passive and but also a smart play by Kylin Esports. They understand and they recognize the fact that they are starting to win these team fights, that their composition has outscaled that of Login Stations, and they don't need to overextend. They were happy with getting the couple of turrets that they did. That one of those base turrets is now just on a quarter of health remaining. They hop back to their base. They get full up on health and energy, pick up some new items, get reinfused, and they're just definitely reset and ready to take another team fight.
Yeah, like all the time. And we're going to, like, as you said in draft there, Flash 6, the positioning is so important on the side of Kylin's esport. And Celeste is doing an awesome job. So I expect to see on the side of Habs for Login Station to see a War Treads coming out as fast as possible, just to enable his team to get the extra move speed to get on top of Morphlings or Cat Lover to actually try and burst them down with the CC available and also the burst damage of the Vox in these early team fights. And we just kind of have to see how that pans out. Look like an aggression should be coming out. Banmoji able to connect on the entire enemy team. Oh, Fearsome Shade going to be connecting. Unfortunately, going to be nicely crucibled out by Kronos. Looks like this will be the end of this small team fight. Probably looking for a little engage. Heliogenesis is doing quite a lot of work there on iDog. We're going to be going passive now.
Morphling at the start of that engagement had a beautiful core collapse onto the Baptiste, preventing Login Station from being able to follow up that Fearsome Shade at all. If they're able to just kite and poke from a distance, they will absolutely win these team fights. We also definitely want to see Cat Lover starting to use the Hellfire Brew to either burn a blocks or do a little bit of chunk damage on to Login Station. So they might even be forced to use one of those Divine Interventions before the team fight even starts.
Yeah, well, tell me, do you have the Kraken just respawn? Well, and also, Morphling and Kronos just backed out. Maybe it would be an interesting objective to go on, but they do not have the information on that, unfortunately, right now. But we do have then the War Chase, not even finished on Habs for the moment. It would be an interesting item to finish right now, to get onto the enemy Celeste and Ringo. What do you think of that, like, Flash X?
There's a couple of interesting things going on that Kylin Esports is doing right now. One of those is the fact that Cronus has opted to max both his Vanguard and his Blood for Blood instead of Gauntlet. What this is going to be able to allow him to do is use that Blood for Blood at a longer range to get on top of Vox in order to apply that Atlas Pauldron, as we see him try and do right there. But it looks like they're starting to get into a team fight.
Yeah, it did have the Hellfire Brew. It did connect onto Blore. No Reflex Block got used there, as you just said earlier. Trying to burn down those Reflex Blocks, but not got used. Blur looks like one might want to back out there. Got those Bard mergers connecting a little bit. No team fights doesn't look like a team fight will be connecting out now. And looks like they even want to go over onto Kraken. Information was given out by the Flare. IDOC got information now coming in. Bard merger will be connecting. Got a little bit of heal back. And it's going to be quite complicated now for Dark to actually steal that Kraken if they want to go for it. You got this awesome Celeste doing a lot of damage. Fearsome Shade going to be crucibled out by the Arden. Holy Nova going to be connected. Solar Storm stolen by the Grace. Holy Nova, be careful. Divine Intervention. Healing up onto IDOC. Caliber going to take a lot of damage. They're still in the front lane. Helped out by the Vanguard of the Arden. Benediction able to get the extra slow. Holy Nova going to be connecting onto the Arden. Going to be bursted to the ground. 2v3 situation. And way up time, we still do have the Kraken going to push onto the turrets of Kylin Esports. Careful there, Morphlings on its own against this Grace. Trying to do a little bit of work. Healing up coming out. You do have the Crystal Sentry able to help out a little bit more. Maybe able to do a 1v3. Able to heal out. Oh, the Solar Storm, unfortunately, will only take one life into that. And it will be the ace for Login Station with a Kraken now pushing onto those very turrets.
That was an absolutely critical Kraken steal by Habs. Habs, my man, you have definitely redeemed yourself for all the healing you missed early on in the game. Stealing that Kraken has absolutely won the game for Login Station here in game number 1.
Yeah, congratulations there. That steal was so well executed with that Holy Nova. And this will be 1-0 now for Login Esports against Login Station against Kylin Esports. A nice play onto that one. So the problem was on this team fight, unfortunately, at the end, Morphlings and Caliber got absolutely bursted to the ground. They just got aggressed so well by Grace with the Benediction, get the extra slow, allowing the team of Login Station to actually fall onto them and destroy them, get the damage they wanted, allowing Vox to turn around, get that Sonic Zoom available, just moving around and get that extra damage, stacking up, and just winning the team fight at that point.
Yeah, I think Kylin Esports having the damage advantage and having the range advantage over Login Station, they got a little bit too antsy. They got a little bit too impatient. They didn't necessarily have to start Kraken when they did. But when you make a high-risk, high-reward play like that, you definitely need to make sure you're securing that objective. I would have loved to have seen the Celeste use her Solar Storm to steal and secure the Kraken, and unfortunately, it was just a Grace able to steal it away, and ultimately, that was the game-defining and game-winning play on that Kraken steal.
Yeah, so congratulations there to Login Station, taking this first win to their base. So now we're going to be heading slowly into the second game. Let's see now if Login Station wants to make a 2-0 situation, or if now Kylin Esports say, no, we want to come back and do a 1-1 situation. So should be heading to draft quite soon enough. So right now, what are you expecting, Flash, to see into the next draft? Like, should they maybe focus onto countering heroes that came out and defining the win in this game, or still keep on what they were doing and maybe just change their gameplay style?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much these two teams really know about each other, but they obviously have this game's worth of experience. They know that they're very comfortable utilizing that double divine intervention on Grace in their compositions. That's something that I think really caused them a lot of trouble and provide them a ton of sustain later on in these team fights. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and jump into draft.
Yeah, so right off the bat, once again, first ban, just Varia. So really just normal at this point. Always going to have a Varia ban. You do not want to have that. As said by Sully the other day, like, Varia is an easy win at this point. I don't know how it is in NA, but in EU, a Varia always wins. And you cannot deny that.
Yeah, Varia, absolute monster. I believe she definitely has the highest ban rate in the world. I wouldn't be surprised if she also had the highest win rate as well, but very smart, very safe ban. I potentially would like to see blue side teams to use a different ban to force the red side team into banning Varia. That way they could ban whatever they wanted. And then if the red team opted to not ban Varia, they could then first pick her. But obviously, because she's banned so frequently in ranked queue, players probably don't have a lot of experience or practice on her. So it's always safe just to go ahead and ban her.
Yeah, that's very true. They're going to be banning then Chernwalker on the side of Login Station. So we just had exactly the same bans than the first game. So just normal on that part. We're going to have to see how that pans out for the first pick on Kylin's Esports place. So probably a Grace might be coming out too. Probably a Ringo, those kind of heroes. Probably going to be going on to just first support. I think Grace would be a nice first choice.
I would agree. It would be an exact mirror of the previous game's draft, but with how strong Divine Intervention is right now, it wouldn't be surprising. But actually, it looks like Blackfeather is coming out on the side of Kylin Esports. That is something that got banned away from them in the previous game, so that's something that could definitely be a huge comfort pick for them. And then with all of the CC that was drafted in the last game, Blackfeather works wonders in terms of maneuvering around a lot of crowd control.
Yeah, and they just picked then the Arden in response to that. With the Blackfeather, he's going to be a flex pick. He can go CP jungle, can go weapon lane. So it's going to be very dependent of what's going to be picked on the side of Login Station. Banning now the Taka on the side of Login Station. What do you think of that ban, Flash?
Definitely a smart ban. However, that being said, I'm not really sure how or why they necessarily went for it. I don't think that Blackfeather and Taka necessarily have a lot of synergy together. That's a very short range in terms of how much range that team composition has. I would have much rather have seen Login Station go for that Grace ban. Grace is the only super powerful captain pick left. But if Login Station has a strategy up their sleeves where they run either a Grace or Arden jungle, I would love to see that come out right here.
So we're going to now see a Ringo ban on the side of Kylin Esports, answered back by a Vox pickup on the side of Login Station. So Vox last game was very, very efficient if he was able to get onto the enemy weakest heroes. So this looks like with the Arden can be something working really good. Got the Gauntlet, you've got the Vanguard enabling him to fall onto the enemy back lane. So right now, I do really like this pickup between Vox and Arden. It does work really well together. We're going to have to see now. Oh, and it just get answered back by a pickup of Grace with the Blackfeather, which we were fearing in the first draft on the first game. So now we have this combo coming up.
Yeah, the dive potential out of Blackfeather right here is going to be very, very deadly. The early game is going to be absolutely critical. However, Vox is going to be very slippery. Having that Vanguard that gives him the speed boost and the slow to the enemy is going to make it really hard for Blackfeather to get onto Vox and to stick onto Vox. And then assuming Vox builds the Poison Shiv as he should, that is going to mitigate all of the healing that comes out of Divine Intervention and might even just put a huge hole in this dive composition that Kylin Esports has compiled with this Samuel rounding it out.
Yeah, so now we're going to be having also a pickup of Samuel onto Kylin Esports side. So I do not really understand that pickup. You're going up against an Arden and a Vox. Vox, as you just said there, is going to be very slippery. So his Dome Mali Sunbirds are going to be very hard to actually put down. So I wouldn't actually go with a Samuel on that point. I don't know what you think, Flash, but that's not my best pickup.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the Samuel pick there either. The only benefit it is going to give them is a lot of early lane pressure. And if they are able to execute it correctly, that can potentially snowball the game and put Vox very far behind. But having Arden in the game there to protect him is going to make things very challenging. But it's actually going to be a Skye coming in as the last pick for Login Station. Also, a very interesting choice. I would have loved Login Station to go for something very tanky, something in the front line that could absorb a lot of the Samuel damage and just completely mitigate all the damage that's going to be coming out of Samuel.
Yeah, probably a Batiste or something in that sort, but we're going to be heading very, very soon into this game. So as last game, Flash, which team would you put on the upper hand in this game?
I would say that with Login Station having the momentum going into this game number 2, It's all going to come down to the mechanics of Bluer on this Sky. That's going to be the key to their success. And if he's able to demonstrate a very strong proficiency in his Sky mechanics, I'm definitely going to have to give it over to Login Station.
Yeah, so it's going to be very important to see onto that Sky. I hope to see normally a Dragon's Eye build up, because on the Grace is going to be absolutely free poke damage with that forward barrage. So building that item would be the best situation, and after just to rotate over to Morphling, try to burst it down as much as possible with the Surge Strike, with the forward barrage, will be the best choice there. But looks like then we're going to be having a level 2 rotation just to get Morphlings, Cat Lover, Eye Dark and Blur to level 2 as fast as possible, and just to try and get then the first team fight, which is going to be very important with the Black Feather to get that Vein of Heart and on-point combo down onto this Sky to get the extra slow and just reposition after the use of a Surge Strike.
Exactly. Morphling's role in this game is going to be absolutely critical. There's a little bit of early game damage trading going on between Arden and Grace. Nothing too significant. Obviously, whittling away at your teammates is going to be as important as possible. But Morphling on this Samuel, the side of Login Esports is so slippery and slow mobile that it's going to be very challenging for Cat Lover on Blackfeather to get onto that team. So it's going to be all up to Morphling to do the bulk of the damage in this game and really punish Login Station.
And it looks like both teams are trying to get that first Elder Treant. Going to be maybe complicated to take. Also, the Drifting Dark will be taken over to the side of Morphling, securing that first Elder Treant. Nicely done. Blue going to be a little bit separated there. Benediction able to slow down Habs, using the Vanguard across the wall to be able to escape that first little aggression. Nicely done on that first rotation.
Yeah, the splash damage that comes out of Malice and Verdict on Samuel, very strong at a level 1 engagement like that. That's definitely was the key to them securing the last hit onto that Shop Treant. And it's going to help build them a very small gold lead early on to the game. But Dark was able to recall and get a very quick shop that Cat Lover on the Black Feather was not able to answer with.
Yeah, he's got those boots now that's going to be super efficient in case an engagement does go between Cat Lover and Dark. We're going to have to see how that pans out. And for the time being, once again, like Morphling, we saw that earlier with the Celeste, goes with triple crystal bits. So just that extra damage in the early game. Benediction able to connect there. Dark going to be forcing out his own healing flask at that point.
Yeah, the lane pressure from Cat Lover and Cronus is absolutely stellar at this point. Forcing Vox to have to use that healing flask is going to really benefit them, and it's going to allow them to continue to keep up this lane pressure. And despite being at an item disadvantage, it's not even going to matter.
Yeah, look, we're going to have a little bit of an aggression there. Blur going to use his own healing flask and going to be a killed well reposition of the Surge Strike. First blood going over to Kylin Esports. Hab's going to be on his own, taking a lot of damage with that Malice and Verdict. Also got the Drifting Dark now coming out to empower the damage and the splash damage coming out. Has to use his own healing flask at that point. Still tanking up a lot of damage. That was Malice and Verdict and goes down with the last Ultra attack of Morphlings. 2-0 in under 3 minutes on Kylin Esports sides. Nicely done. Nice rotation over. Very aggressive gameplay, which you want to see when you build 3 crystal bits. Oh, well time in the lane. Cat Lover did tank up that turret shot. And it's very complicated in that lane. Did use that own healing flask at that point. And in the jungle, things are happening absolutely everywhere. Blur tanking a lot of damage of that Malice and Verdict, empowered with the Drifting Dart, trying to reposition and go maybe to the enemy's jungle to steal those camps.
Everyone living with just a sliver of health right now. Both of the carries up in the lane, very low. Dark forced into recalling on that Vox, but those 2 kills from Kylin Esports, they're definitely stepping it up a notch here in this game number 2. They don't want to go out 2-0, so they want to make sure that they're building this early game lead and getting as far ahead of Login Station as possible. But because they had to recall, because they invaded, that opened up the door for Login Station to be able to find the Shop Treant, pick it up for themselves, and now they're just back into their jungle, able to do another rotation.
Well, at that time, there was a back to the base for Calaver. He just purchased right off the bat his first Serpent's Mask, so he's going to be that much more efficient in the next team fights, able to sustain more in the lane, just kill those minions, be full HP almost all the time now, and just get first aggressions onto this Vox when he really needs to. Vox still hasn't finished his Poison Shiv. Looks like he's trying to finish it as fast as possible. Level 6 hasn't been unlocked now for anyone at the moment, so when that comes up, it's going to be that much more efficient in the team fights to get that ultimate, the Rose Offensive, and also the Divine Intervention for Cronus is going to be absolutely game-changing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because of all the early game team fighting and rotation, Habs has fallen very far behind relative to Cronus in terms of his fountain development. He still needs about 500 more gold to go, whereas Cronus could rotate down and purchase it already.
Yeah, it looks like Cronus should be trying to do that as fast as possible. Where time a lot of aggression on the top lane there on Night Dark, just trying to keep his lane up at point, taking down that farm, and they're going to be rotating away on the side of Kylin's Esports. So, yeah, no, got a little bit of aggression there. Also, was he on point? Not going to be connecting, unfortunately. So yeah, Cat Lover right now. Oh, careful word time. Benediction going to be connecting, not the Holy Nova. Yeah, so just little aggressions all the time coming out. So yeah, Cat Lover looks like he should be trying to go next item onto a breaking point that's going to be that much more efficient. Onto Have just going to be front laning a lot, and after just able to rotate over onto this guy when he's got the stacks he needs. But right now we're going to be having Morphling rotating up to lane to try and help out.
Yeah, great rotations. Everyone's up in the lane. A little bit of a team fight going down.
Oblivion, so I'm going to have to cut you off there. Oblivion did not connect, unfortunately. Holy Never does indeed. Blur going to be on the back lane, taking off a lot of damage, and so is Habs. On point, will be connecting just on time. Habs did use his own healing flask, and so will Blur forward barrage doing a little bit of damage. Doesn't have his first item, so Blur's not going to be that much of a use with that forward barrage until he doesn't have that first item finished. We're just going to have to wait for the next team fights.
Yeah, because iDark was forced into a recall right there, he was able to pick up his Poison Shiv, and that's going to be absolutely critical. You see that Blackfeather already has a Serpent's Mask. That's going to be a ton of sustain coming out of him, not just from the Vampirism, but from the barrier he gets from his on point as well, not to mention the Divine Interventions coming out of Grace. So that Poison Shiv, I mentioned it before the game started, an absolutely critical item for Vox to have to make sure he's negating as much healing coming out of the side of Kylin Esports as possible.
Just to note this, we do have the 2 Dragon's Eye just got purchased onto Samuel and Sky. So that means like the team fights, if they go a little bit long, as it just happened before, it's going to be that much more efficient. Forward barrage, doing a little bit of damage there onto Blackfeather. Also, that's one, but this not connect. Did use the Rose Offensive to reposition. Chronos tanking a lot of damage of that forward barrage. Blood, very, very skillful on this Sky. More time, we do have a little bit of a push down that turret, and he looks like Cat Lover says, no, you will not touch my turret. Does have that Drifting Dog doing a lot of work there with that Malice and Verdict, trying to reposition and get the awesome positioning to try and put the damage onto Blur. Healing Flask going to be popped out onto Dark to try and regen and stop this push from going any further.
That's the damage output I was talking about before the game started that Morphling needs to have on the Samuel. If he's able to drop those Malice and Verdicts with his Drifting Dark, he's going to get them very low.
Yeah, that's a lot of burst damage. Almost taken down iDark with a second shot. Will be going down, and he does get destroyed. Going a little bit further onto the turret and just destroying him while he's backing out. Oblivion totally off the mark there. Blackfeather going to be off the turret just a little bit. We do have the tank from Kronos coming up. And it looks like maybe Cat Lover wants to go right to the end. Morphling is there, just waiting for his time, waiting for his shot. Going to be using Drifting Dark, trying to get the damage. Blur going to use Raise Offensive to reposition. Will take him off. Blackfeather doing a lot of work. Got 5 stacks of Hearth Rope available. Can maybe try and use a Feint of Heart onto Habs. While he's backing out, but it looks like they're going to focus down the turret instead. Kronos taking a lot of damage. We'll be able to survive just a little longer, and we'll live another day.
Yeah, with the dive potential that comes out of the side of Kylin Esports, I definitely think Login Station should have seen that coming. Not only did they give up those 2 additional kills, they lost their first turret as well. They could have mitigated the damage from that scenario by just going ahead, backing out, recalling safely, and just giving up their turret. It was inevitable anyways, and now that they have these items, they're back up in lane, putting more pressure onto the side of Kylin Esports.
Yeah, so now that they got that turret down, they're just able to go even further to do those team fights. Cat Lover is going to be super happy to do that with the Rose Offensive and to finish them as far as possible. And something I'd like to give information on is, it looks like Cat Lover wants to build some crit damage. What are you thinking of that, Flash? Like crit damage before breaking point or anything of the same sort?
That's definitely something you don't see too often in the ranked Q meta. But if it's something the Cat Lover is confident on this Blackfeather, more power to him. He does complete the Tyrant's Monocle very early on into this game and is going to be able to create a lot of burst damage. And if he can get onto those squishies in the back line who don't have a lot of defense, it's going to be very effective.
Oh, be careful. Divine Intervention connecting onto Calavec, giving him the extra sustain, repositioning with the Feint of Heart. Healing Blast going to be used onto Blur. We see him absolutely bursted to the ground. Rose offensive and the crit damage, doing so much work in that situation. With the turret, Monocle just got purchased before that team fight. Double kill for Black Feather. Will we go in maybe to a triple kill with the Feint of Heart? He got the sack. No, we're going over to Samuel. But ace anyway. To the side of Kylin Esports. Nicely done on this Black Feather. Just doing so much work with that Tyrant Monocle build.
Yeah, that Tyrant's Monocle just put in a ton of work for Cat Lover on the side of Kylin Esports right there. Really paid off. They found them an ace. It's going to enable them to create a lot more pressure, shove the wave under the side of Login Station's turret, and basically give them a free gold miner. It's completely full at this point. That's going to be 1,200 gold going over to the side of Kylin Esports.
Yeah, and right now, like, Cat Lover purchased that Tyrant Monocle just before the team fight. So they were really surprised by the burst damage coming out from Cat Lover. Blur wasn't ready for that, and they didn't have the information at that point. It just gave them so much advantage, like the surprise advantage, and also just the burst. It was so efficient at that point. Blur having absolutely no defense. And iDark does, but even at that point, it wasn't enough to tank up all the damage coming out from Cat Lover. So right now, we're going to have to see, like, yeah, we're going to see a little bit of defense there. Again, purchased onto Blur, just saying he doesn't want any more of that. And this one will be raining down onto Caliber. Forward barrage, not going to be onto this Black Feather, just missing out a little bit.
Yeah, Login Station stuck between a rock and a hard place right here, starting to get almost 4K gold behind the side of Kylin Esports. So they definitely need to make sure they're kiting as much as possible. What they need to do, they need to wait for Samuel to drop his Drifting Dark. The moment that the Drifting Dark expires, they need to commit to an engagement in order to find a way back into this game. They're down 7 kills to 0, and if they don't start picking up kills for their own, Kylin Esports is just going to be able to slowly farm, slowly whittle away at Login Station and continue to build their gold lead, essentially.
Yeah, and now we just got the Echo that just got purchased there for Kronos. It's going to be absolutely game-changing, and they already, like, got the advantage during the 7-0 game in under 12 minutes, and that Divine Intervention Echo combo is going to be absolutely huge onto this Black Feather. If he goes too much onto the front lane, it takes too much damage. And also, they might be looking to try and take this second turret down, but no, they're going to leave that minion wave expire and just rotating down to the jungle shop at this point.
I think that's a great decision by them. In the last game, we saw them, even with a lead, get a little bit too antsy and overcommit. Right here, they know that they have a lead at this point. They know that they don't have to overcommit to anything. And that's really going to be the only way that Login Station is going to be able to find a way back into this game. Because Login Station picked 2 relatively squishy carries in the backline in the sense that no one is really a true tank, they really need to be careful of Samuel's damage.
Yeah, be careful there. We do have a 2v3 situation there, taken up on the side of Kylie. Also, Divine Intervention going to be raining down onto this Black Feather, giving the extra sustain. 5 stack of Hearthrobe going to be coming out. Also, that awesome Gauntlet going to be able to be very defensive onto this. Drifting Dark does come out. Crucible going to be used very, very early for Kronos. Going to be using the Echo onto that Divine Intervention. Black Feather trying to reposition. Rose offensive to try and escape from that damage. Forward barrage. Got the 12 stacks on that Dragon's Eye, and so does this Samuel. Trying to reposition, tank it up with that on-point reposition in Blur on his own. Going to be a little bit separated. Fountain and Crucible going to be used out from Habs and able to take off right off the bat Morlin. This is maybe a little comeback we're seeing right now. And so will Grace go down 2 kills to the side of Login Station. This is the start of a comeback flash.
This is exactly what Login Station needed to do. They saw that Kylin Esports was a little bit split.
Just on time. Going to be repositioning on the Crystal Sentry. Sorry there, Flash.
That's all right. They are able to pick up the ace, which is absolutely huge for them. They're going to be able to come back, close that gold lead that Kylin Esports have been establishing quite significantly. I'd love to see them go for the gold miner right here. They are beginning to start it up, but because Kylin Esports is all back on the board, they need to take this as quickly as possible, and Vox and Sky have relatively low objective clear.
Yeah, it might be a bad idea to actually commit to that gold miner because you do have Black Feather coming slowly over. And Echo just got purchased for the time being onto the Arden. Available with that double Gauntlet if he wants to use it. Gauntlet seems like going to be used quite soon. Going to use that Vanguard onto iDark, giving it extra defense and sustain to go onto Morphing. Pressing down, Divine Intervention coming out, giving the 436 heal. Trying to reposition. iDark takes off the bat. Morphings get absolutely destroyed. iDark also gets one, but not going to be on the mark, unfortunately. Blood for blood doing the job. For Habs taking off this Grace of the House and Fold, Cat Love is going to be on his own, trying to do a lot of work there. Going to use also that second gauntlet. And don't try and destroy Cat Lover. Try and reposition with the forward barrage. Cat Lover should be going down his second line of steel. Oh, clench it too, live. Going to be able to survive a little bit. just going to be doing that little dance in front of them. On point, just on time. Also the Vanguard to get across the wall. So nice team fight on both sides. But we do have a really, literally a team comeback on the side of Login Station happening right now.
Yeah, that's 2 team fights in a row that Kylin Esports has gone in at a disadvantage. They only had 2 of their members together. The other one was split, farming away in the jungle. And that's not what you want to be looking for when you have this gold lead. There's no reason to take risky plays like this, especially once you know that you're ahead. But now there's only 2K gold separating these 2 teams. Login Station has been able to pick up a lot of kills, put a lot of gold in their pocket. We see Vox sitting on 4 tier 3 items now, whereas even though Blackfeather is on 4 for himself, they're basically even. And earlier he was ahead an entire item, and that gap has definitely been closed.
And might try to get onto that second turret. They will take it down in an instant, quite easy. We're pretty low HP on that rotation. Drifting Dark going to be coming out. Again, also the first few stacks on that Dragon's Eye looks like Divine Intervention. Oh, no, sorry, they're not Divine Intervention. This one will be coming out. Chronos going to be tanking out a lot of damage. Also, that very defensive Oblivion coming out just on time. Crucible popped out from Habs to avoid that sleep. Divine Intervention coming out once again onto Black with a repositioning. On point connecting. Habs going to be very low repositioning with the Rose Offensive once again. Gauntlet, but not on time, will be killed by that Faint of Heart. Full stack of Perthrow. Forward barrage, be careful. Vox, you're a little bit on your own. Will be taken down. Repositioning. Sky doing a lot of work there. On point, able to tank it a little bit more. That's from above. Doing the work, able to slow down Cronus. On point, be careful. You do have the Crystal Sentry. Might be a bad idea, Blur. Again, slowed down by the auto attacks. Forward barrage. Tanking up that damage from the forward barrage. Wizzy on point. Going to be trying to back out. Oh, just escapes on the damage of that forward barrage. Anyways, nicely played on both sides there.
Login Station turning it up a notch, turning this game around, making sure they're making all of the right decisions. Even though that was an even team fight, Login Station was able to close enough of the gap between themselves and Kylin Esports that they're starting to make this comeback. They're still at a 2K gold disadvantage. That's mostly just due to CS, but Dark, he's in trouble up in the lane.
Yeah, he's trying to do a little bit of a 1v2 situation. Got saved out there by his good friend Arden. Got the Vanguard available. Divine Intervention raining down onto him. Cat's Lover going to be able to sustain a little bit more. Holy Nova going to be reflex blocked out. Also, be careful, Cat Lover going to use the Fountain to try and get him back into this team fight. Dark coming back doing a lot of damage to him. Might be taken down, unfortunately, by the Black Feather. Now we're going to be in a 2v3 situation there. Well, at that time, Cat Lover going to be very, very low, trying to heal up with that Serpent's Mask onto those minions before going back in. Holy Nova fought. Oh, no, the forward barrage got the full 12 stacks on that Dragon's Eye. On point going to be missing out, unfortunately, for Cat's Lover. And now Chrono's going to get the benediction there. Going to use a reflex block 2 on himself, trying to sustain. Unfortunately, going to be very complicated. That defensive Gauntlet coming out a little bit off the charts. Holy Nova going to be connecting onto Argon. Arden stopping that Vanguard. And looks like this will be the end of the team fight. Oh, be careful, Blur. No, we'll be able to use that Surge Strike to get out of that sticky situation. Going to be taken off by the Grace. Won't be able to back out right now. Forward barrage. Got the 12 stacks on that Dragon's Eye. Looks like Kronos overstaying a little bit too long. Will be going down to Blur right there.
Great mechanics by Bluer. He's able to rotate in and help out his teammate Habs, but Morphling putting in a lot of damage right here.
Yeah, be careful, Morphling. Going to use his reflex block. Looks going to be a little bit complicated to survive this with the Vanguard extra move speed onto Dark, and it will be going down. So something you said into the draft phase, Flash, was the combo of Vox and Arden together. When it's able to scale in the late game, they're just such a good combo, able to give the extra sustain to Vox, the extra move speed, and slowing down also, as we saw earlier, the Black Feather, just not giving him the possibility to get onto Vox as efficiently, and it works out perfectly this.
Yeah, they're so slippery, and Habs, historically in past patches, we've seen Arden always use that Echo to use it onto Vanguard, but here he's using it on Gauntlet, excuse me, but here he's actually using it on Vanguard, but Cat Lover coming in to contest the Kraken.
Yeah, it's good. He went to try and do a 1v3 situation, but unfortunately, you have an Arden. And an awesome repositioning by Blur. They will be taking off this Black Feather off the map instantaneously. And Chrono's just trying to keep the information on the Kraken if they ever do take the decision to take it down, which they are actually doing.
This is risky now. They are very low health, both Bluer and Habs. They need to be wary of the Sam, but if Dark is able to build up enough breaking point stacks and keep Samuel away, they might be able to finish this Kraken.
Oh, that gauntlet going to be coming down, stunning off completely. Samuel trying to position. Second gauntlet coming down. Going to use a reflex block of his own this time. More going to be bursted by Dark. Just on time. The awesome positioning. The extra move speed of the Vanguard is doing absolutely all the job. Raining from above with that death from above will be doing the job to just cutting off his escape route. And now they're going to be rotating over to a Kraken. And this, I think now, down a really, really good spot over for Login Station to take this game and to take it back in their favor.
They're in much better shape now to secure this Kraken. Previously, Bluer was only about half health, which opened up enough of a door for Cat Lover to kind of go on and contest. But now, getting this ace, having them all at full health, that's going to make Kraken very simple to take down. One thing that Login Station did earlier in this game that has paid dividends for them right there was getting rid of all of the charges onto the Crystal Sentry. That enabled them to just be able to chase Kylin Esports into their own jungle. And normally where you have this big, massive Crystal Sentry helping defend them, it wasn't there this time, and that was absolutely critical in them finding the ace.
Yeah, it just enables them to go even further, to keep doing those team fights and burst them to the ground and just not get slowed by that Sentry. And now we got that Kraken proudly pushing onto this lane. Going to try and get access now shortly to that choke point. And you're going to be kind of complicated because they are not the best team here to take down the Kraken, unfortunately, but it's not also the best team to do a siege comp. It's not the best. Looks like Kronos having a little bit of a problem there with his internet connection. Going to be respawning there. Nice respect there, just leaving him survive a little bit. Going to be CC'd by that Death from above. Kronos just having a few problems there. Going to use that gauntlet there. Going to be able to cut off Morphling. Going to use his own reflex block. Second gauntlet should be coming in any second now. Just to use, no, didn't have the second gauntlet, unfortunately. Blackfeather doing a 1v2 situation there. Stacking up. Got that Feint of Heart just on time to finish. The Vox is going to be coming back with the Feint of Heart. Divine Intervention radiant from above. Going to use that reflex block too. And the Vanguard to reposition. Blah. Be careful. You are very low. Finished by the on point. And looks like Cat's Lover wants to get that ace onto Habs, which he can actually do. Trying to bait him through with that turret. And the Kraken does go down at 500 gold each on the side of Kylin's Esports.
Yeah, now that Cat Lover has that breaking point on the Blackfeather, he was able to get to 20 breaking point stacks with the Tyrant's Monocle he built earlier in the game so quickly, and that was very punishing towards the side of Login Station. Huge respect play to them to not kill Cronus. If they lose this game, I will feel absolutely terrible for them. They made the great sportsmanship play. Had they killed Cronus when they could have, I really think they could have just closed out the game right there. But because Habs actually doesn't have any armor, he's a sitting duck for Cat Lover. It's going to enable Cat Lover on the Blackfeather to build those breaking point stacks up very quickly. And that's something that he really needs to start watching out for.
Yeah, because by the fact he has no defense, it's just enabling Cat Lover to build up those breaking point stacks so much faster after just to reposition with the Rose offensive and try and burst down Blur or iDark. So it's really an important item that should be built now by Habs because, as you said, he is a sitting duck. He can just build. He's just the fastest way at this point for Cat Lover to build up those stacks. So right now he should try and focus that. He's still got those vision, those flares onto him. So maybe a slot you want to free to actually get that defense at this point.
Yeah, Login Station needs to be comfortable playing passively. iDark actually has no true damage items. They're all attack speed based items. They need to be reliant upon just kiting, letting iDark build up these breaking point stacks because Cat Lover on Blackfeather is going to be able to get breaking point stacks much quicker, especially if they take a head-on fight. I really think that they're going to lose, but if they can rely on their sustain, their mobility, and their ability to kite, I think that that's going to be the key to them finding victory in this game.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to have maybe the last team fight coming out also. That Gauntlet going to be able to keep Morphlings away from his teammates. Going to use that way for able to connect onto the enemy team. Cat Lover going to be trying to reposition. Feint of Heart just going to be on point. Taking off the map, Blur instantaneously. Trying to do a 1v1 situation there with iDark. Just getting bursted. Those breaking point stacks are at 20. And iDark will be absolutely destroyed super fast there by those 20 breaking point stacks. Now they're going to be going over to a Kraken. And it looks like the comeback phase on the side of like an esport might have reached its end.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. They overcommitted too quickly, too soon. Habs led that team fight with the Gauntlet. It would have been great if they could have kited back just a little bit, because by the time iDark only had 5 breaking point stacks on his breaking point, Cat Lover on the flip side on that Black Feather was already up to 15, and having that additional weapon power synergizes so well with Tyrant's Monocle. It's going to make that critical damage so much higher, and that's something that Login Station really needs to be wary of when they're defending this final Kraken push.
And with that Kraken, looks like they're trying to finish the game as fast as possible. They already got that little minion wave, not taking off the shield of those turrets, unfortunately. So it looks like stacks are slowly building up there for Blur onto that Dragon's Eye already, 7 stacks in. Trying to get the enemy team of Kylin's away, and looks like they're just going to be waiting now for the Kraken to start a very new push. And yeah, it's going to be really, how should they act now accordingly on the side of Login to try and get through this?
It's definitely tough. A lot of it's going to come down to what Kylin Esports does, but it looks like they are committing to a team fight.
Yeah, we do have the Gauntlet. They're able to keep that Grace into their zone over there. I'm not going to be using that Vanguard on the... Oh, be careful there. Also, the Crucible going to be popped out. Divine Intervention coming out once again, giving the extra heal up for Morphlings. Looks like this will be game over to Kylin Esports. We're still in a 2v3 situation. Kraken still mid HP. If they want to go right to the end, looks like Black Feather wants to go to the end onto this Vein Crystal. Oh, does come back. They just take 2 mans down. This might be the overstay from Kylin Esports. They're going to try and take down the Kraken. Will be going down. Maybe one last hit. And it's just, no! Will be going over to Kylin Esports with just a last hit with the Kraken. Awesome plays. Did overstay a little bit too long. Could have gone the other way around with that Kraken, just saving the game for them.
So close. Just a millisecond was the difference between killing Kraken and losing their Vein Crystal. Unfortunately, or fortunately for the side of Kylin Esports, they do find life in this best of 3 series. It's all evened up now, 1-1. Morphling, like I said, absolutely critical. He was able to find a ton of damage, and because Login Station wasn't really using their mobility and their ability to kite to their advantage, that made it really easy for Cat Lover to do his job, to get onto the carries, to stick onto them, and just be able to output a ton of damage.
That was very, very decisive. So congratulations then to Kylin Esports. Going back to 1-1 situation, that means the next game is going to be the decisive and the most important game for these two teams, trying to take to 2-0 now. So we're going to be trying to head into draft as soon as possible to try and get the last game going right off the bat. So just going to wait for that. But what should we see now coming into the draft for these two teams? Like, we've seen they can both play very aggressively, and Grace has been a very important factor in both games. This Black Feather was doing a lot of work, and so was Vox into the 2 games. So what do you expect to see now coming down in this last matchup? Something a little bit different, or still staying on those core and important heroes?
I definitely think we're going to see a lot of the same style of drafting that we've seen already thus far. It does seem like Grace is a huge factor in both of these series. I would not be surprised at all if Login Station didn't just go ahead and first pick her. But it does look like we're getting into the draft. And once again, for the 3rd game in a row, it is Avaria being first banned away by Login Station.
Yeah, just at this point, I think we're getting used to it. Just taking off the Vara every time. Probably even going to be taking another Chandwalker. Will be a Chandwalker just getting banned once again. So Varia Chandwalker off the charts right away, and probably even a Grace first pick. So like every time, same bands, probably the same hero is going to be picked up for both teams.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Grace, a beautiful pick by Login Station. Not surprising at all to see her come off the board. They understand just how strong she can be. Kylin Esports, I'm definitely expecting more of the same as what they did in game 1. They lost really just because of a poor decision. They got a little too antsy in taking that Kraken too early. I wouldn't be surprised to see them take Arden yet again. Again, Arden, the other super powerful captain remaining in this meta. If Kylin Esports doesn't take Arden right here, I would really like to see Login Station use their 2nd ban to get rid of Arden, but it's not going to matter. Kylin Esports does take Arden off of the board.
Yeah, so now we're going to have to see if they want to focus down some Black Feather. It will be them banning Black Feather. First, 2nd ban on the side of Kylin Esports. They do not want to give that over with the Divine Intervention. It was such an important matchup on the last game. They do not want to give it over once again. So just banning it off is the best decision at this point. We're going to see if they want to maybe ban a Ringo to still open on the side of Login Station.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's something that they understand Kylin Esports will play if they have the opportunity. I think Ringo would be a really good pick right, or a ban right here, excuse me. But that being said, they've also seen just how powerful Kylin Esports was on both the Vox and the Samuel. So that's something that they're going to want to pay attention to and be careful of as well.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be waiting a little bit more for the second ban on the side of Esports. So right now, Grace, they can play absolutely awesome heroes, such as like a lot of sustainable heroes, like maybe the first game. We might see another Black Feather coming out. Not Black Feather, saying Batiste. Maybe another Batiste coming out. We'll be banning off Taka. So Taka is a hero. On Login Station, they do not want to have to deal with Taka. He's got banned so often in this matchup. So what do you think that's all about, Flash?
Yeah, these teams might know more about each other. There might be someone on the side of Kylin Esports, probably Morphling, who's very equipped to play Taka, and that's something that they're just scared of. Taka can definitely counter a lot of those backline squishy-based heroes, but because they know that Kylin Esports likes to play Ringo and likes to play Celeste, I'm surprised that that wasn't something the Login Station want to keep on the board, but it looks like we're getting a mirror match of game one where they go for this Grace, Vox, Batiste composition. A lot of sustain, a lot of healing, a lot of crowd control. I'll be really interested to see how Kylin Esports decides to respond.
Probably a Celeste coming back if we wanted the exact rematch. But yeah, like as we said, like the first game, what happened was when you have that Batiste and Vox comp at the start, is to actually fall onto the enemy squishy back lane. With this comp, it is very complicated. So we're going to have to see how that pans out right now and see what they want to pick. Like I would see, once again, a ranged hero that could be actually quite efficient on the side of Kylin Esports. What would you see as the last pick there on their side?
There's a lot that they can potentially do. I think that if they went for someone a little bit tankier, that could be a way to just mix it up. I really liked their Celeste. I think the Celeste from Kylin Esports made a lot of sense. If they're able to just play a little bit more patiently and not fall as far behind in this game three, I think that the Celeste would work really well, especially if that's a comfort pick for them. Obviously, Arden able to help keep Celeste alive and babysit Celeste a little bit through this early game, but we'll see how it goes when they only have about 5 seconds left.
Yeah, gonna have to see soon. The pick will be coming out, and it's gonna be a Kesh. Then two very squishy backlanes. What, like Flash? What do you have about that pick? Like, why would they go onto a Kestrel's last pick against this type of comp?
Definitely interesting, that's for sure. Kestrel, though, again, similar to Celeste, she's going to have that huge range presence. However, one of her greatest assets that Celeste doesn't necessarily offer is her early game presence and her early game pressure. That was something that really hurt Kylin Esports in game one when they were running the Celeste, was Celeste got behind. Celeste just not that strong of an early game hero, whereas Kestrel, she ramps up on Crystal Power much more quickly, and she's going to be able to output a lot more damage that is going to be a huge threat to Login Station early on in this game.
Yeah, so now we're going to be going into the House and Fold once again for this last match opposing Login Station to Kylin Esports. So once again, Flash, what team would you be supporting in this last and final game with these two matchups?
I think it's all about the momentum right here. Kylin Esports understands that they're back in it. If Kestrel is a comfort pick for Morphling in the jungle, I'm going to have to give the victory to Kylin Esports.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to be going over to Kylin Esports too. Just if they can get on point with that Kestrel and just get the burst damage you want onto the Vox or the Batiste front lane, can be so efficient and just burst them to the ground super fast and just get heroes, even if they're getting healed up by the Divine Intervention, they can just get deleted instantaneously. So it's going to be very important to see how this will pan out throughout the game. Anyway, we are going to be starting the game with a slow rotation once again.
Yep. After this first rotation, I definitely expect them to go at it. I know that Login Station has been fairly aggressive during these level 1 engagements, but now that Kylin Esports has this Kestrel at level 1, if she puts both points into her Glimmer shots, which I definitely hope that she does, she's going to be able to output a massive amount of damage and potentially secure that shop triumph for themselves yet again.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Slowly going to be marching through the jungle. Slowly we'll be having the first team fight coming up probably for that Elder Trin. Looks like team Yeah, Team Kylin are going to be grouping up a little bit there, and so will Login Station. Just going to get a little bit of a poke there. Going to be missing out, unfortunately, on those Glimmer shots. Not going to be that much of a use. Does not put the 2 points there, as you said, onto the Glimmer shots. Unfortunately, does get the active camo, and it will be going over that first Ildatrin over to Blur. And do get the CC available with that. Also, the stun coming out from the active camo. That was actually a very smart build in that first time. Did work out just on time. Chrono's going to be trying to back out as fast as possible. Vanguard does get available. He can use it on himself just in case. We'll be using it just there. Guess the slow move still will be going down to the Vox. First blood over to Login Station. Very aggressive, as you said earlier. Being very aggressive once again on those level 2 team fights.
That is not at all what Kylin Esports wanted to have happen after this level 1 rotation. They really needed to be able to secure the upper hand after that first rotation, because not only did they just give over first blood, they gave over Kestrel's entire second jungle rotation, and that is absolutely going to come back to Hunter. Even though she did put that 1 point in the active camo, it doesn't provide nearly as much of a threat as what 2 points in the Glimmer shot would have been able to done. On top of that, Morphling has to be on point with these Glimmer shots. He has to be able to land them, but fortunately, just looking on the positive side, he is able to pick up this shop treant for himself. But again, Login Station is an entire jungle rotation ahead now, and that is going to be really beneficial for them going forward.
But it looks like Morphling's just all the time, very redundant attitude on this. I'm just getting 3 crystal bits, very aggressive first itemization. All the time that happens. So he's going to have to try and turn tables around because, as you just said, he lost his entire first jungle rotation. It's going to put him in a very bad spot for now, at least. So going to have to see how that pans out. It looks like 2 supports are just staying in lane a little bit and just feeling the pressure there. And waiting for probably a little gank up for from the junglers coming out quite soon. Morphling just backed out too, so he's going to be a little bit late. And looks like iDark wants to try and steal more jungle rotation on the side of Kylin.
Yeah, iDark looking to maybe get a little bit aggressive right there. He's a pretty sneaky rotation up through the jungle side of Kylin Esports, but they're going to be able to smell it out. Cronus has vision on him, but that bad mojo hitting for 400 damage. He already has his heavy prism. He already has an eclipse prism to go with it, and that's just how important that first rotation was. But Morphling looking to get a little bit creative right here, equalizing things just a bit and starting to steal away some of the jungle of Login Station.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to back out. I think it's going to be another kill. Probably going to use the booster just to try and get out of that situation. And Cronus in an awesome rotation with the Vanguard, giving the extra move speed, trying to escape. Got Cat Lover coming back to try and help him out. Healing Flask going to be used also onto Kestrel, trying to sustain out. But the Bond Major just able to get him slowed down. And the Benediction Vox getting another kill. 2 kills over to Login Station. And the back out of Cronus saying no, doesn't want to go any further. And Dark going to try and steal now another rotation, trying to get back onto this Kestrel.
Yeah, if Morphling was able to steal that jungle farm and get away with his life, it definitely would have been worth it. But now, not only did he give up a kill, he's also giving up his backs yet again, and that's going to really end up hurting him in the long run. But iDark, you're in trouble here, my friend. He doesn't have his boots available. He's not quite level 6. He's not going to have the Fearsome Shade or all the tools he needs to get out of this.
Oh, but they are coming back with an awesome rotation. Though they're doing a lot of damage, going to be bursted to the ground with that Bard Mojo, doing 381 damage. Kronos trying to get a little kill there with the sustain of iDark with that. Batiste is so efficient, he does not go down, and Grace will find an easy kill on that point. Blurge on a little bit of a 1v1 situation, does have the healing flask, will be popping it out just on time to survive the aggression from Blur. So nicely done, an awesome rotation on Login. Just able to have such an awesome synergy for just to come and help out. Batista was in a bad situation.
Login Station leading the charge in this game number 3. They said, you guys can start out with a huge kill lead in game number 2, Kylin Esports. All right, we're going to take it back and go for it. Game number 3. Batiste already has his Shatterglass. He completed that, and it hadn't even been 5 minutes into the game yet. As a jungler, that is absolutely massive item progression so quickly early on into this game, and that's definitely a testament to just how effective iDark's rotations has been in the jungle during the early stages of this game number 3.
And one at a time, we do have Hub still level 5. He still hasn't hit that level 6 mark. One at a time, Dark going to be a little bit on his own there. does use a fearsome shape, but not going to be that impressive because he's still going to be going down. Do not face check, my friend. You're going to get deleted. And right now, Habs hasn't hit the level 6 mark, but when he's going to hit, he's got the Fountain and the Divine Intervention that's going to be available, just giving that much sustain to the Bitty Storm to the front lane. When they're going to be doing next team fight, it's going to be so important. Healing Fast popped out there for Habs to try and heal up. Maybe look for another aggression in the next few seconds.
Yeah, iDark getting a little bit too overconfident right there, face checking the bush. That's definitely not something you want to do, especially when all 3 enemies are missing on that minimap. They need to be careful though right now. Caliber just threw out the Hellfire Brew onto Bluer, and that's going to chip him down a little bit. Fortunately, because he does already have this Poison Shiv, he just needs to kill a couple of minions and he'll be back to full strength in no time.
Yeah, that's true, but Poison Shiv now is going to be that much more useful. He's got Poison Shiv breaking point. That means that when Yarden's going to be onto the front lane, he's going to be able to build up those stacks before going and trying to burst down Cat Lover or Morphling. So it's going to be that much more interesting to see how he's going to be working around those team fights. And just got the Fountain now, just got finished onto Cronus. That means he's going to be able to give that extra sustain to his allies with the Vanguard. It's going to be very, very important in the next and upcoming team fights.
Yeah, that is going to be very important. Unfortunately, though, because of how this early game has gone, Habs is a full level ahead of Cronus, and he already has Divine Intervention, whereas Cronus is nowhere near unlocking his Gauntlet, which is absolutely going to be critical for the team fights on the side of Kylin Esports. Boxy's, though, still continuing his item progression. He's actually down a level to Morphling.
Oh, be careful there. Blood taking a lot of damage coming out from the Ringo. Healing Flask going to be popped up quite early for Cat's Lover. And also the one shot, one kill connecting on the Habs. Not going to be going into a kill, unfortunately. Also with that fearsome shade connecting onto Cat's Liver. Able to win a little bit more time. Dark going to be shot down by that Hellfire Brew. Going to be burning down a little bit. Habs doing too much on the front lane. Will be going down, unfortunately, to the Arden. And Cronus just surviving with was a little Lizer of HP. My tongue just went the other side there, sorry. And yeah, be careful there. You do not want to overstay Habs and stay too long in that front lane position. Even though you are Grace, and you have the Holy Shield, you cannot sustain enough against these kind of heroes.
Yeah, despite Login Station having such a strong early game, iDark, for the majority of that, was actually down a level to Morphling, and that was definitely critical to Kylin Esports finding life again in that last team fight and evening up the score just a little bit. They put their first 2 kills onto the board, and it looks like Cat Lover has just completed his Tyrant's Monocle. That's really going to increase his damage output. And iDark, without any armor yet at this point, he definitely needs to make sure he's being very careful and being very conscientious of his positioning.
Yeah, got a little bit of poke. They're going to be raining down to Blur. He doesn't have any mana, doesn't have any HP available now to get into a team fight. He should be backing out quite soon, I'd say. But you can have a push potential there with the Ringo. If they do use that push wave, and you have Morphling overstaying a little bit there, the Glimmer Shots are raining down, going to use the Divine Intervention. I think just in case a one-shot, one-kill was going to be coming out from Morphlings. It did have that ability available, and also the Hellfire Brew on Cat Liver that was available. So nice pickup there. We'll be going to use the Hellfire Brew onto Blur, going to be burning down, uses the Healing Flask to tank up that damage. And yeah, a little bit of a sneaky Kestrel there, staying into the bush and getting a nice position in. And a nice shot, and also the Gauntlet will be raining down, stunning off completely Blur. Can you also that Divine, that fearsome shade? iDark not going to be connecting, unfortunately. On the way forward, we're going to be connecting there, unfortunately, onto the Kestrel. Going to get a little buff damage with those Glimmer Shots. Let's come back there, and doesn't look like it's going to be onto a kill right now. Ringo trying to get a little bit of poke onto Blur. Looks like Kestrel going to be a little bit of invisible. Holy Nova connecting onto this. Oh, the burst with that Bard Mojo. One shot, one kill, completely off the mark. And nice first kill onto this team fight. Perhaps going to be staying a little bit too long, unfortunately. The turret having a little bit of a problem there to focus down. Does come back there to focus. Perhaps going to be taken down probably by the Ringo. Trying to reposition. Slowed down by the Achilles shot. Going down. 2v2 situation now. And looks like they're going to be a little bit of an advantage on the side of Morphlings with that active camo if he wants to take down those choke points.
Yeah, even though Cronus had a great gauntlet to start off that team fight, it was completely negated by the fearsome shade of iDark. They need to be careful, though. Cronus is coming back. He's shopped. He has his Crucible now. He will be able to block fearsome shade in any of these remaining team fights, and being able to do so is going to be very important for his team to be able to continue outputting all their damage and putting a lot of poke into the side of Login Station. But Morphling, he has that Shattered Glass now. He's probably working towards a Clockwork That's going to really help with a lot of his energy, regeneration. He does pick up the clockwork right there. That's going to be a great item. It's going to be able to allow him to output those glimmer shots much more quickly. He can even start to spam the active camos, which is something that the side of Login Station is really going to have to pay attention and watch out for. Fortunately, Habs did pick up a contraption very early on into this game, so they can keep tabs of where Morphling is at on that Kestrel at all times. So maintaining vision control for the side of Login Station is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, that was a very smart itemization there on the side of Habs. Just able to get all the time information on the active camo. It looks like it's going to be caught out a little bit. Where's the wait for it? Arden going to have to try and run away. He's doing that successfully. And just to come back on what you just said there, Morphings does go for a lot of burst damage right now, which is very important because Caliver is also going on that. Did go on that turret monocle. Looks like he might even want to try and go onto another one. So just to try and get that extra burst damage between the Kestrel and the Ringo to try and shut down Blur as fast as possible, which is a very, very smart move on their side.
Yeah, in game number 1, if I'm not mistaken, Caliver did ultimately go for the Spell Sword, double Tyrant's Monocle, and then ultimately even a Tornado Trigger, getting to him to that 100% crit chance rate, which is going to really enable him to do a lot of damage.
Be careful there. The fearsome shape was not on point. Absolutely not. Bomb Rage doing a lot of work. Going to be taken off that Vanguard. And when that time, just be careful, Kestrel. What are you doing? Totally off the mark. Going to be deleted in an instant. Kronos going to be a little bit slowed down by those Bard Mages. We'll be going to double kill on the side of Blur with that Vox. Nicely done. But be careful, Kestrel. You do not want to go in that front lane position. You're going to get deleted.
Yeah, Morphling and the side of Kylin Esports were definitely looking to get a little bit aggressive right there. I think that they were just expecting Login Station to come up through their jungle side, and Morphling had a really good and really smart active camo waiting for them. However, on the other side, iDark had a great rotation up behind him, but he does unfortunately drop.
Yeah, also going to have the Divine Intervention coming out onto Blur. Trying to get the burst. Vanguard coming out. Blur going to be using that way for it. Also using the Healing Flask to try and sustain out. Oh, the Kestrel coming out just to try and get the Glimmer Shots to do that damage. Unfortunately, will not do the work he was expecting. Holy Nova going to be using the Crucible way too late. Kronos just wasting that useful item, unfortunately. Benediction, you do have Batista's backed out. 1-shot 1 kill going to be connected and tanked out by Habs. Hellfire going to be raining onto Habs. Tanked up by that. Going to use also a restrict block just to not have that burning damage. I'm just going to be going back to base at this point.
Yeah, Morphling needs to take this opportunity, knowing that they recalled, to try and clear out those scout traps. Now, when he ran down from the lane, he knows that he's revealed. There he is. He finds that scout trap right there. That's something he needs to be very proactive about removing. He should have just recognized that he passed by another scout trap, and they need to make sure they are clearing these as frequently as possible, because if he's able to find a very cheeky active camo mist onto the back line of Login Station, that's going to be really important for the side of Kylin Esports to find success in this final game.
That's very true. And something I'd like to point out is because Habs has got that contraption, that means it's going to be that little extra late on the Echo, just like really an item defining object for a Grace at this point. It's going to be that little bit late. So it does give an opportunity over to the side of Kylin Esports there to try and come back and not having to deal with the double heal up with the Divine Intervention. Well, that time looks like iDark trying to get a little bit of an aggression with that Bard Mojo and trying to get a CC onto Cat Lover. Unfortunately, not going to be in range right now. Try and get the CC. Orden will be connecting down. Benediction able to get the extra slow. Holy Never not going to be connecting because he uses the reflex block. Trying to go right to the end onto Kestrel under turret. Does work just on time. Going to use the Divine Intervention. Able to heal full HP Blur. Still taking up those turret shots just on time. Nicely done. Nice rotation over for Habs. Looks like Kronos having a little bit of a problem there, unfortunately. We'll be trying to go and survive under turret, but Vox going right to the end, slowed down by the Benediction. Looks like we're going to be having an ace, and it will be an ace over to Login Station. Well played.
That was a great dive by the side of Login Station. Very well coordinated. Critical timing with Kraken spawning right now as well. They have plenty of time to go ahead and secure this. But that is the power of what Grace, when she is able to use this Divine Intervention onto her carries, enables her to do. Bluer was able to just dive underneath that turret and basically ignore all of the damage he was doing because he knew that he had a Divine Intervention coming.
Sorry, I was just a little bit stressed out there. Got tanked out by Habs with that 1-shot 1 kill just on time. Sorry.
That's all right. Great body block by Habs and iDark to make sure that one shot, one kill wasn't going to come through and steal it. That's something the teams always need to be aware of, making sure that they're body blocking it so that they don't get a huge objective stolen away from them.
Yeah, that was very nice position in there on the Habs side. For the moment, we got that Kraken trying to get access to the choke point now. Going to be very interesting for Habs at least to get those benediction a little bit more further across if they get access to the choke point. Got the CC there coming down with that Ordain, enabling Kronos from going any further to his teammates. Vanguard's going to be coming out. They do take that turret down now. They got the access. Vanguard going to be raining down to try and keep them into their own base. No time to sustain. Now they're going to be taking Arden down instantaneously. One shot will kill. Connected into the active camo zone on the floor. Nicely done, but Blur will not be going down. Fountain is going to be popped there for Habs onto Blur. Trying to get the extra sustain. Be careful. Still have the Kraken. Still got a quarter HP left. They're going to take down that first Vayne turret. Looks like this Kraken is not going to be game defining right now. The Kraken will be going down quite fast. Benediction under the turret. And this is a bad situation right now for Login Station because they're trying to overstay a little bit. One shot, one kill. Not going to be connected and tanked up by Habs. Going to get the CC not available for just keeping Caliver into that base and not giving him the possibility to go and attack onto Login Station. So nicely done there. And looks like they're not going to be looking for an aggression anytime soon with that Crystal Sentry on the mark.
Yeah, great execution by Login Station on that Kraken push. I actually really liked how Kylin Esports was able to just use Kestrel to stay at the backline, poke away, even though Cronus did drop right there. Both their carries staying alive, positioning safely in the backlines is what enabled them to still stay in this game and not go out just quite yet. But Login Station with this 4K gold lead, it's not huge, but it's definitely starting to create a little bit of a gap between these two teams. Because Morphling does have Broken Myth completed on Kestrel now, she's going to be able to poke through a lot of the shielding that Login Station has. And if these team fights go long enough, she should be able to whittle them down quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a very important build to actually finish there. But looks like Login Station are trying to look for a team fight into the enemy's jungle. However, we're going to be connecting to iDark, going to be burning down a little bit. Hab's going to be doing a lot of front lane work, and it looks like he might be going down just to Crucible. Just on time and on point, able to save his life. One shot, one kill, completely off the mark. Unfortunately, didn't have the information on the position there. Also, oh my god, just able to get him away. The active camo is active with that fearsome shade. Going to be stunned out, going to be taken in off the mark. 3v2 situation. Crucible going to get used, trying to sustain. And Caliver going to be going down, and so will probably Arden know. We'll be able to get the heal up. And it looks like now Login Station will be looking forwards, trying to finish in this game. Going to be trying to tank up that turret. Dark End also the heal onto those minions. Nicely done there. And Login Station will be ending the game and taking a 2-1 situation, winning over Kylin Esports. Nicely done. Congratulations, you take the game.
GG, good game, well played, Login Station. At the end of that, absolutely beautiful fearsome shade coming out of iDark to find Kestrel in her active camo. Had it not been for that play right there, I don't think that they would have been able to close the game out as early as they did. Cat Lover at that point in time knew that he was going to have to come in, try and do what he can to save Morphling. Otherwise, the enemy team would have just had complete positional control on the map, and they could have probably just gone for the victory anyways. But yeah, 13-4, huge congratulations to Login Station on their victory here today.